Hello, everybody. This is Stu Smith with the To Through and After series with another guest, Remi Adeleke.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
We are so excited to have you. And if you're not sure who Remi Adeleke is, you got to check him out. He's got a website that we'll post down below, and he is doing some great stuff. Remi has probably one of the most interesting stories that I've heard in quite some time, former Navy SEAL, and that's kind of where we're going to focus on his to, through, and after journey, like who he was before. And his journey going through BUD/S is insane. And then, his journey afterwards, we're going to talk about, his time in the teams as well as, what he's doing after now that he's out of the military. So, Remi, our number one question, of the day is like, who were you before you were in the military?
Wow, before I was in the military, I was a street kid. I grew up in the Bronx, so I was trying to get money. My thing was I wanted to get money, power, respect, and women. And not having a father growing up in the Bronx, I began to look to culture, the streets, my peers as father figures. And there's a saying in a rap song: you either sling a crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. And so for me, I started out playing basketball. I didn't work out too well. My mom, she was struggling financially, so I went into the streets and started hustling. I started out stealing from my mom, and that progressed to taking jobs and stealing from jobs, and that progressed to selling drugs, and that progressed to running high-level scams. So by the time I was 19, I was bringing in thousands of dollars a week. I had a record company that I had funded fully on my own with illegal drug money and scam money. That's who I was, like, right before I went into the military. As a matter of fact, I ended up getting involved in a deal with a drug dealer that went really, really bad. I won't give it all away. It's all in my book. But
yeah, sure.
That played a massive role in me saying, I need to get out of here. I need to change my life.
I got you. So that was your – yeah, and by the way, he has written a book called Transformed that's going to be out in January. We'll have another show on just that. But, there's more to that story, right? Yeah. There's another reason why I wanted you on here is because you weren't born in the Bronx.
No,
right?
no.
Tell us about your family, where they came from.
Yeah. So I was actually born in Western Africa. I lived in Nigeria until I was 5. My father was a well-known Nigerian engineer, very, very wealthy and successful. And because of his success as an engineer and entrepreneur, we lived a life of opulence. So we traveled the world, we had cars, we had nannies, we had it all. And then fast forward, in 1987, my father had invested a lot of his assets in this multi-million-dollar project. And the Nigerian government stripped off my father everything financially. So we went from rich to poor. And then my father died like within days of that happening. So that's how I ended up in New York City. So my roots are actually Nigerian. I'm from the tribe, the Yoruba tribe. So all my Nigerians out there, they know that the 3 prominent tribes in Nigeria: Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. So I'm Yoruba. My last name, Adeleke, is Yoruba, and that means the crown is above. Nigeria runs through my veins, the blood of Nigeria.
That is awesome. I tell you, I can't tell you how many kids from Nigeria email me and say, hey, I want to be in the U.S. military.
Yeah.
Right. And it is possible. It is possible. It's difficult. They have to get a visa and come over here and, get the green card, and then they can join the military. And then, obviously to do what you did, you have to be a citizen, which your mother was an American, correct?
Yeah, my mom was an American. And actually, even though I was born in Africa, my father, he was Nigerian, full-blooded Nigerian. And my mom was American. They decided for me not to have dual citizenship. They decided early on that my citizenship would be strictly American. So I was born a U.S. citizen abroad. So technically, I can run for president.
Okay, well, that's awesome. All right. So when is it that you got your idea of, hey, I want to join the military? What was that? What was that all about?
I was at the bottom. Rewind a bit. Back in '96, there was a film I saw by Michael Bay. That film was called The Rock, and that was the first time I heard of Navy SEALs.
Not a great SEAL scene, but
the SEALs died.
Excellent movie.
Well, actually, I love the scene. I love how they go in.
They're badass.
It was awesome. But the SEALs died. But when I saw that movie, I was like, who are these guys? Like, They had on these wetsuits. They had these suppressed guns. They had long hair. I mean, they were just different. And I was just fascinated when I saw these guys who were not just hardcore, but they were smooth. You know, it's one thing to be hard, but it's another thing to be hard and smooth. And so after I watched that movie, like this dream kind of bubbled up in me. And I said, if I ever turn my life around, I would be a Navy SEAL. Now, at that time, that was like me saying, you know, now I want to be an astronaut or I want to be the president or whatever. It was just a far-fetched, unrealistic.
That was in 96. So the seed was planted, what, 8 years before you went to Buds? When did you get to Buds?
The first time I went to Buds was 2004.
2004. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, almost 8 years in. So so about that journey, obviously you found a recruiter that hooked you up.
Yeah.
Right. And that's awesome. You know, that it's so nice when, you know, a young kid can go to a recruiter and that recruiter puts in a little extra effort. And sometimes that little extra effort makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
You know, because some people do not get into the military period without that little extra effort from the recruiter, and your recruiter really hooked you up. So what did she do for you?
Yeah, you know, I had warrants out for my arrest when I joined. I didn't even know I had warrants, and she, you know, again, I won't give it all away, but she fudged some paperwork and you know, and told me to keep my mouth shut, and that's how I got into the Navy.
Yeah, that moment of truth. Don't stand up.
Yep.
Don't raise your hand. No, man, that's crazy. It was crazy. So I guess, you know, back then they had a different pipeline for the SEAL process, right? It wasn't the SEAL mentors in the regions, if I'm correct. I don't think that started till about 2005, 2006, a few more years later. So you're kind of on your own, right?
Yeah.
You had to pass PST. So what was your first PST score like?
Oh man, I passed everything except for the swim. I think I had like 110 push-ups. I think I had like 105 sit-ups. Pull-ups, I think I was like at 25, and the run I was at like maybe like around 9:30. But the swim I failed. I think I failed the first time I took it. I failed the swim by like a minute.
Okay.
So the time
not
was
horrible.
Yeah, not bad.
Not a horrible swim, just not fast enough.
Not fast enough.
So it's mostly a technique issue, probably more than anything, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So fast forward, you joined the military. What did you do in the military? Before Buds.
I was a corpsman. So I got the rating of a corpsman. And that's another part of my story. When I went to recruiter, my ASVAB score wasn't high enough to go to Buds. It was just high enough to get into the Navy.
Right.
But I did qualify to be a corpsman. And I was stationed in Naval Hospital, Camp Pendleton. And the funny part of that is I had partly forgot about the SEAL thing. And I was about to join the Marines. And I thought that would be the best route for me instead of being a SEAL. But you know, things happened the way they happened. And I ended up in the Navy, and I ended up on Camp Pendleton. And after I ended up on Camp Pendleton, working at the hospital and seeing how the Marines were and operate, I was like, thank God I didn't go to the Marine Corps.
They're a hardcore bunch.
Yeah. My personality at the time, they're great. You know, don't get me wrong, the Marine Corps is amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Just my personality at the time was not fitted for the Marine Corps. I would have probably been kicked out or punched in the face by my DI.
I understand the exact problem. In fact, you know, a lot of your story is, you know, I didn't have warrants out for my arrest, but you know, I can definitely understand your journey in the way it's going, because I've had a lot of those same options. Like, do I want to be a Marine? Do I want to be a SEAL? Do I want to be a pilot? Do I want to be a SEAL? You know, so you're going through all these options, and you know, to be honest with you, I mean, it kind of depends on your personality, but at the same time, you know, you can't go wrong. No. With any of these decisions. So anybody that's listening out there that's struggling with, you know, which branch to serve, you know, try to find something that, you know, kind of resonates with you. Look at where you're going to live. Yeah. That's one thing I did. Like I had an option to go Army or Navy, and I was lucky enough to get into the Naval Academy, and, you know, could have gone West Point. And then I I looked afterwards when I graduated, where would I be living? Right. And I'm from Florida, so I'm a beach town guy, love the beaches. And um, I noticed everywhere in the Navy, there's a beach town.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way it works. That's the way it works for the Navy, but not so much the Army. So that was that was an eye opener for me. And that would be honest with you, that's what kind of drove me towards the Navy. So,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes that's the way it works.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And I think just to double tap what you said, I try to tell young kids all the time, especially the ones in their senior year of high school, and they still don't know what they're going to do in life, or they don't really want to go to college. I tell them, just join the military. I mean, you can get your college paid for. You can get such amazing life experience that you can't get anywhere. You get to travel the world, and you get a solid foundation, so that when you do finally figure out what you want to do in life, you have those principles that will help you be successful in whatever it is.
Absolutely. You're so right about building that foundation. That is a great way to build a foundation, whether that is before college, after college, whatever situation you're in, you can make it work for you. There's a lot of great opportunities in there. So I'm glad you found your opportunities and it made you the person you are today. But, I do have a saying a little bit where, I'm kind of like the coach, right?
Yeah.
Instead of the instructor. So I'm try to help people understand the whole process of the physicality of the training to where it becomes so mental.
Yeah.
You endured something that is beyond physical.
Yeah.
That after listening to your story earlier, I was shocked at the number of times you went to buds.
Yeah.
Right. And
never quit.
Never quit. But it was, the swimming was your nemesis. So tell us about your getting through the training. We understood that, you were, a corpsman who lateral transferred to buds, after your, some time as a corpsman on Camp Pendleton, training your ass off, getting in better shape. But your first time, what happened?
You kind of touched it, the swims. I could crush everything at buds. I mean, the 4 mile time run wasn't an issue for me. I could take the beatings, I could take the name callings, I could, but the cold water and the swims. Before I went to buds, I didn't know that you had to swim with fins. I just thought that, you just had to pass the 500-yard test. And then once you did that, it was going to be all just, land stuff, push-up, pull-ups, and all that kind of stuff. So I had never trained with fins. So first time, I think it was in dock, I put on fins and I started swimming. I wasn't going anywhere. And then I made it in the first phase and I would kick as hard as I could, but I couldn't go anywhere. The 2 mile time ocean swim, as you know, the time limit for first phase was 85 minutes, but I was swimming it in 120 minutes. And then the instructors would make me, they were like either quit or finish the swim. And being an African-American with not that much body fat, man, I was
2 hours
in the water. Yeah, I was in that water for 2 hours, but I just kept on pushing. Mentally, I kept on saying to myself, I know I can't swim, but I have nothing left. I need to figure out a way where there is no way. And so I just kept on pushing and pushing. And one thing that I did was I made sure that I crushed everything else. I knew because I had such a massive deficiency as it related to swimming.
Absolutely.
And I didn't have issues with other water stuff, like the 50-meter underwater swim, I passed that without a problem. Underwater knot tying, I passed that without a problem. Drown proofing, I passed that without a problem.
Nice.
All that stuff wasn't an issue for me. It was just those distant swims. And so again, mentally, I just said to myself, Remi, you got to crush everything and you got to just keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. And essentially, that's what helped to get me through. And then eventually, I was rolled in, after Hell Week and put in a program where instructor Giesel, he worked with me on swimming, and that's what kind of helped get me caught up, so to speak.
Right. So we're gonna kind of skip over a couple things, but you went to Buds the first time, and you made it how far?
Dive phase, so second phase.
Oh, dive phase on the first time. Okay, damn. Right, and that was you basically got kicked out because you failed the second phase swim time.
Yep, I failed the second phase swim time, and then on top of that, I failed the tread during pool week.
Oh, okay, pool tread. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's a hard one too.
But the instructors told me, they said, hey, if you would have passed your swims, we would have rolled you again.
Right.
But it was because I had I had been double rolled for swim classes after I made it through Hell Week. And then I get to second phase and I fail my first 2 swims. And then I get to pool week and I fail the tread 4 times. I passed ditch and dawn, night ditch and dawn, gear exchange. I passed all that.
Yeah.
It was just, and the tread is similar to the, as you know.
Oh, absolutely. It is vertical swimming.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, treading is vertical swimming. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And you should treat it as such. A lot of people think treading, no big deal. I can tread all day. But, you put your hands out of the water, it becomes a different ball game, but that's a hard test. So after that, you went back to the Navy.
Yep.
Right. And as a corpsman, what'd you do after that?
I was in the fleet. So I was, in the Marine Infantry. So this time I was sent to Battalion 1-4, which is located on Camp Pendleton. Okay. And it's essentially the Bronx, man.
Right. Yeah. So you were doc. You were doc in a infantry battalion.
Yes, sir.
And how did you do a couple deployments with them?
I did 1 deployment with them.
Okay.
And then after I got back from that deployment, my LPO, he became, the career counselor, and he helped me to kind of get back to BUD/S right away. Oh,
nice.
So I got right back into BUD/S after I got back from my first deployment.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they don't just do that for anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta be a stellar performer. Like if you get kicked out of BUD/S and you want to go back, you have to have chain of command support.
Absolutely.
To make that happen. So you can't just go be a dirtbag, and try to get back to BUD/S. You got to go kick some butt in the fleet and then come back. Round 2. So tell me about round 2. How'd that go for you?
Yeah, just to kind of double tap that, man, because there's a lot of guys who don't make it through BUD/S the first time.
Yeah.
And then you have a group of guys who will go to their commands and be respectful, will crush it, will work hard, and their commands will support them. But then you get those other guys who I've seen who they'll get to their command, and because they were in BUD/S, they have this cocky, arrogant attitude. You know what I mean? They're always getting in trouble. They don't want to do their work, and the command won't support them. So, for all the guys out there listening, in the case that you don't get through BUD/S the first time, because the likelihood of that happening is extremely high. I'm not trying to be a doubter. It's just when you look at the numbers, speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Go back. Go to your command, whatever command you are. Be humble, be quiet, do your job, be respectful, grind every day to work on your deficiencies, whatever it is that you had a problem with in BUD/S, and get back as soon as you can. But by going to your command and just being a nuisance, or thinking that you're the man because you made it through Hell Week or you made it to the second week of first phase, you kind of burning your bridges.
Yes, I love it. Great advice. Great advice. So round 2. How'd that go for you? So you've gone through Hell Week once already.
Twice
already.
Yeah.
So your second time at BUD/S. Oh, that's right. Because okay, gotcha. You made it to like day 3 of Hell Week the first time.
Yep, of Hell Week.
And then rolled, and you went back through it again.
Start first phase all over again. Day 1 of first phase all over again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now you go back after a deployment with the Marines.
Yeah.
How's that trip? How's that one go?
For me, it was easy. It was, because the minute I got dropped from BUD/S the first time, I just started training. I was in the pool like 3 days a week for sure, kicking my butt off to get the strokes and stuff down. And so it was easy. It was a breeze. I mean, first phase was easy. I passed all my swims.
Nice.
It was all easy. It wasn't an issue at all. So yeah.
All right. So first phase, no problem. Second phase, treading. Got through that.
Passed it.
Mastered that. So
there's an interesting story in my book about that. So I kind of leave that for the book.
Yeah, leave it quiet because that is a great story. Yeah. And then fast forward to BUD/S graduation.
Yep.
All right. So what happens there? Where'd you go after BUD/S graduation?
After BUD/S, I went to SQT, which it's kind of might be different from your time, but SQT is qualification training, and you get the nomenclature. I forgot what the exact term is, but you get the rating of a SEAL.
Yeah, SO.
Yeah, the SO rating of a SEAL. Graduate from BUD/S, but you don't get your trident until you graduate from SQT. So I went to SQT. You have to go through all the same training that the actual platoons go through. So you go through land warfare, CQC, close quarter combat shooting, diving, skydiving, SEER, all of these things. And then once you graduate from that, then you go to your SEAL team. So I went through SQT, and then from SQT, I went to my platoon,
Nice.
Team 3, and it was awesome, man. I mean, dude, it was worth it.
Yeah, Team 3 back then, they had quite a few heroes.
Oh yeah, a lot
at
of
Team
legends,
3.
man.
Like who were you able to serve with over there at Team 3?
Wow, man, a lot of great dudes. I mean, I was a Delta platoon, so that was Task Force Bruiser when I checked in.
Yep.
Chris Cowell was checking out of that task I think out of the Navy. No, I think he was just checking out of Team 3.
Right.
So I met him. Charlie Keating, we were in the same platoon together. I mean, legendary dude. We went through Bloods together as well. Brandon Looney. Wow. So Patrick Feeks, we were in the same platoon together. Legendary, great J-Tag. He was a phenomenal J-Tag comms guy. There's so many great guys. And even before there, I was in Bloods the first time with Mikey Mansour. We were in the same boat crew. Mark Lee, we were together the second time. Ryan Jobe was in Bloods at the same time. So these are all guys who were Team 3, Task Unit 2, Delta and Charlie Platoon guys. And I was put in that Task Unit. And it was awesome, man. We got, I was able to go down range, kick down doors, get after it. I mean, do the frogman kind of stuff that you see in movies and you dream of doing. And
right.
It was awesome, man. I loved it.
Nice. So that's incredible. That is a spec war community of heroes right there that you had the honor to serve with, and
absolutely
that's impressive. So let's fast forward. I guess how many deployments you do with your SEAL platoon? Did you just stay at SEAL Team 3 the whole time?
Yeah, I was at SEAL Team 3, and then I went to SRT.
Oh yeah, that's a great little program.
Yep, and then I went back to 3, and so I did my career, I did total 3 deployments.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, nice. So I did that, and then I had kids, man.
You know what? I won't lie. Between kids and injuries, probably my number 1, number 2 reason of getting out too. I mean, I didn't have the commitment for 20 years. I mean, that's what it came down to,
That was my thing. My dad died when I was young, and not that I was fearful. I mean, you could die in the teams. I mean,
just being away. Yeah,
I wasn't worried about that. It was just like being away from my kids, and I knew how that affected me as a kid growing up without a father, and I just wanted to be in my son's life. I have 2 boys, and I want to be in their life as much as possible. That was ultimately the main reason why I got out.
Yeah, understand. So when you got out, what was your first steps? Where did you? I guess what part of your life guided you to where you are now? I mean, like think about your journey, right? And this to, through, and after journey. Yeah. Where do you think you drew upon to make your next move? Right, because that's a hard transition for a lot of us. When you make that transition out of the military.
No, absolutely. Well, like in my early years before I joined the military, I was always in the business. My mom, she had started her own little writing business called First Impressions Writing Service, and she did that because she wasn't making any money as a teacher in the South Bronx. And so I saw, I was able to see an example of entrepreneurship. And then I started my record company. Now, granted, that was with illegal money. And so when I got out, I knew that I didn't want to work for anybody. I knew that I wanted to work for myself. And so before I got out, I started a consulting business. Well, I bought part of one consulting business, and then I started my own consulting business. Just working with kind of, not exactly what you do, but just working with corporations and athletic organizations, and just, teaching them principles that I learned in the SEAL teams, just translating those principles onto the field or into the corporate office, skills such as critical thinking, mental toughness, communication, leadership, that kind of stuff. So
absolutely.
I just started creating programs, and before I got fully out, before I got separated, and so that was kind of what kind of helped me to stay afloat a bit financially. And then fast forward to not March, but May of 2016. That's when I was approached by someone in Hollywood, and Michael Bay. He was looking for an African American who was a former SEAL to be part of the project. I was an African American, former SEAL, and so I got hit up. And the next thing you know, I'm in this movie, Transformers. It's a little movie nobody's ever heard of course, Transformers.
Dude, I love that movie.
And then, that just started opening up a lot of doors to me. So I just started walking through those doors. And what prepared me for Transformers, and what prepared me for the opportunity was my background in the military. I mean, learning how to take direction. I mean, as a SEAL, you gotta, when somebody tells you to do something, you don't question it, you just do it. And so when I was on set and Michael Bay told me to do something, I didn't question it, I just did it. Being a public speaker, where at times when I was speaking in front of crowds of hundreds, sometimes thousands, that prepared me when I was on set and I had to share lines, and there was hundreds of people, not hundreds, but 50 people on set.
Yeah, so, still high stress. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And so, my career in the military and what I did with my consulting, that unbeknownst to me, that was preparing me for Hollywood.
Well, it also seemed like you had a natural tendency to move towards the arts. Like you said, you had a record business, a music business. You were big into music.
Yeah.
Did you ever get into acting when you were younger?
No, I mean, just, school plays.
Right.
But yeah, never thought I would get into acting at all. It was not something I was trying to get into. I was actually in grad school when I received that call for the film. Acting was the last thing on my mind. But after I got on set and I started doing it and I started having conversations with other actors and a friend of mine, they kept on saying to me over and over again, Remi, like, you gotta pursue this thing. Because I didn't want to, because I was just like, hey, I was 34 at the time. I had 2 kids, I had a wife and a mortgage. There's no way I'm gonna drop everything, move to Hollywood and be an actor. Like, to me, that was irresponsible. But I listened to my friends and I was just like, you know what, I'll try this thing out and I'll see where it goes. And if it doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't go anywhere. And it gradually, I'm not like this massive actor at all, but I'm gonna tell you something, you don't have to be to make a lot of good money in the industry. And so
that is true.
I gradually got commercial work, and then I signed an endorsement deal with Jockey Underwear. So I got my own. I think I'm one of the only frogmen to have an underwear commercial and print ad.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I just started. I started leveraging the opportunity and leveraging the skills that I acquired over the years to push forward. And now, I'm still acting when the opportunity presents itself. But I moved more into writing now. After writing my book, I just was fascinated by story. I've always been fascinated by the art of storytelling.
Right.
And so, after writing my book, I was just like, I'm gonna write a movie. And so I've been writing this movie, and what I've shared with people in the industry so far, they're just like, you wrote this? I'm like, yeah. They're like, this is amazing. And
awesome. So you're writing it as a screenplay?
Yeah, I'm writing it as a screenplay. My plan is like, I always have, as we know, if we say in the SEAL teams, 1 is none, 2 is 1. And so my plan going into this was, you know what, if it doesn't work out as a screenplay, if it doesn't get picked up by a studio, I'll just write it as a book, because I have a second my book deal with HarperCollins.
Nice.
And I can just option the rights for a film at some point. So, just being strategic, but that's been my focus now.
I love it. So what is the project that you have just completed, and what's the next thing that you see is going on?
As far as project and being the screenplay,
whatever, your book. Tell us, when can people get your book? That we kind of hinted about a little bit, about the book, and not want to give too much of it away, because I will tell you, you were nice enough to share it with me prior, and I was going through this whole thing, and I was like, this is the perfect to, through, and after that I've ever read. Yeah. I mean, it is a to, through, and after book. So
thank you. Yeah,
really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I poured my heart and soul into it. I sat at this very computer and wrote. I didn't use a ghostwriter. And then writing the book is a whole story in itself, because the publisher wanted me to hire a writer. I was like, I hired a writer and then I had to fire the writer because, you know, he wasn't writing properly. And so I started all over again and just rewrote the whole book. And that was the journey. But yeah, man, I tried to write it in a way where it's a journey story. And I tried to write certain segments of the journey story that people can relate to, you know, different people from different backgrounds can all relate to. And yeah, so now I'm in the marketing PR phase of the book. And it releases January 22nd. I'm super excited about it. Yep. I'm going to be releasing some. I came up with this idea, and I'm going to be releasing stories that didn't make it into the book.
Oh, cool!
It's cut starting November 6th. You know, on the website, on social media. Now, here's the kicker: I'm not the one sharing this because it would be too easy for me to do that and say, yeah, this happened and that happened. So I found actually, you know, people who I've grown up with. One kid I used to sell drugs with, he shared a story of a bunch
I love it.
You know, girls I used to hang out with, you know, people I went through buds with or training with. So they all sharing these funny, unique stories that didn't make it into the book. And so we're going to start releasing that in November. And no one knows that this is the first time I'm announcing.
Oh man, I love that idea. That's genius.
Yeah, so you got the exclusive.
That's really genius. I like that. I could see how I could do something with that type of idea. That what a great idea, because you're right. I mean, it's hard to, if you're going to write about your life from 5 years old until almost the present, you know, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't get in the paper. You know what I enjoyed about your program is you didn't even talk about Navy SEAL stuff till halfway in the book.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a true to and through process of the program. And so where can people pre-order it? Can they pre-order it yet?
Yeah, yep. The book's on pre-order right now. You can pre-order it on transformstory.com. So again, that's transformstory.com. If you go to the website, there's a link that just says pre-order. Click on that.
Okay. I'll put the link in the description of this video and audio. That'll be on Google and
awesome.
Google Play and iTunes as well. So
awesome. And everybody who does pre-order the book, we're going to be giving away exclusive content. As a matter of fact, some of the content is that we'll be sending out to everyone who pre-orders the book is some of these stories.
Oh, so, I love it.
So the general audience is going to get, you know, a certain amount of stories, but then there's going to be those who pre-order that are going to get some exclusive stories that won't be released to the general public. So there is an incentive.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's a great idea. Almost like a little prequel and, you know, a little extra credit, you know, that people can get. Great idea. Great idea. And that's so out of the box. You know what? It doesn't surprise me, though, that, you know, a former SEAL, you know, has that kind of an idea.
Absolutely.
You know, because it is all out of the box. And your journey to this day has been largely successful because of that out of the box thinking and that will to never quit.
Amen. Yes, sir.
Because that has been that is what I have seen from this story is simply that.
Thank you.
You know, it's a great story. So, man, what's next for the after story? Like I know you're on the West Coast, living out in sunny California. Can't beat that. I mean, is that where you're going to be staying and maybe getting involved with? You still doing consulting work, or are you going to focus more on the acting side?
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm just open to the opportunities that come. I'm actually working on a movie right now with Michael Bay. It's called Six Underground, and it's a Netflix movie. I've been working with people go on my social media and see a lot of range time, me shooting with different people. And essentially what I was doing was I was training, getting the actors ready.
Smart.
So that was kind of consulting.
That's good business, man. They need to know how to do it right, because you're going to have people like me saying, "Oh, what's he doing?
Exactly.
You don't wield a weapon that way."
Exactly. So yeah, I've been working on that film, and then I'm supposed to be flying out to Europe to be on set. And there's a role. Michael Bay hasn't told me my role yet, but apparently there's a role for me in the film that I'll be acting in. So I got that going. As I said, I'm taking meetings for my screenplay. There's people in the industry who are interested about it. It's an espionage. the way I describe it, it's a mix between the Matrix and Sicario. Really, really interesting. But Matrix is kind of, think of those two combined together.
So would you call it a science fiction?
No. When I say
dealer?
No, no. It's when I say Matrix, I just mean with the messaging, the way they had these, the secret world of kind of under the radar that you couldn't really. It's an intellectual type film, thought provoking. It's not just action. There is action in it, but it's more those like you got to really pay attention to all of the scenes and what's being said so that's why I equate it to the Matrix, because it's this world within a world. So you really got to, you can't just check out and say, I'm gonna watch it.
I got it. You can't be looking at your phone while you're watching the movie. You miss too much.
Yeah. So I'm writing the film. I've been getting contacted by people in the industry who are also interested in the rights to my film, to option it. The rights to my book, to option it as a film. So there's people looking at already turn my book into a movie.
It absolutely should be. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I said, and I really appreciate you asking me to read it.
No, absolutely.
And whatever you want me to do with it, I will plug it. I will review it. Whatever you need me to do, you just say, hey, can you write a quote for this? And I'll do it, man. Because it is really a good story.
Thank you. Yeah, hey, I still want you to write an endorsement for me, for the book, so I can put in the book. And then, do on social media to drive people to the pre-order site. That'd be awesome, man. I appreciate it.
It's a good book. Like I said, I haven't read too many books by SEALs that aren't, very, a lot of them are mission focused. It's like things that they did overseas and stuff. Some of them are their journey as well. And I think those do really well. I think those do really well about their journey of, before BUD/S, during BUD/S. Everybody likes the BUD/S stories. The fact that you have 3 of them is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And then the after is really critical, because a lot of people worry about is the military something that I can do? What can I do after the military? And I tell people all the time, you can do anything you want.
Anything. And that's the amazing thing about the military. It sets you up for success. I try to, and I want to be careful how I say this, and I don't mean this the wrong way in any way, but I try to, in my mind, if you get out of the military and you're broke, unless it has to do with, some type of mental condition that some people have.
So it happens.
There's no reason for you to get out of the military and be broke. And again, I say that carefully and I say that respectfully. And the reason why is because the military sets you up. If you leverage the tools, if you pay attention, it can set you up for success forever,
Yeah. Like the last thing you want to do is go into the military with a bad attitude. Like, you aren't there to learn.
Yep.
You aren't there to grow, because you can do both very well. And then take some skills that kind of get beaten into you a little bit, that, you automatically become a morning person. You get so much stuff done before 9 a.m. It's amazing. I'm still, the most productive I am is between 6 a.m. and noon.
Yeah, amen.
Anytime after that, I'm like, I don't know. What am I going to do this afternoon?
That's a procrastination time, especially on Friday.
Right. Right. So, no, man, I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to add to this to, through, and after story?
No, I think we covered it. Just, all the listeners out there, just remember grind, put in the work. Attaining your dreams is possible, but you have to be willing to do the work. Nothing comes easy. When you look at my story, nothing came to me overnight. It's a journey story for a reason, and I wrote it that way because I wanted people to see the years and years and years of hard work that I had to put into life in order to get to where I am today. And, things are not going to come overnight. You got to put in the work, and you got to start now. Because I know there's a lot of listeners out here that are trying to go into special operations, and it's not an easy life. And another thing I'll say to you guys is, being a SEAL, being Delta, being Army SF, PJ, CTT, MARSOT, being any of those guys, it can't just be a good idea to you. it can't just be a good idea to you. And I say that because there's so many young people who, to them, being a SEAL is a good idea. I'll be a rock star. Girls will love me. I'll get to do cool stuff. And if that's your only reason for being a SEAL, I guarantee you won't make it. You have to have a deep-rooted emotional reason why it's important for you to be a SEAL. And it could be as simple as what it was for me. I have nothing left. I have failed at everything else in life, and I cannot fail at this. That was my deep-rooted emotional reason why I endured the pain day after day after day after day. So don't let this being a SEAL, a Delta, or whatever it is that you want to be, don't let it just be a good idea, because a good idea won't sustain you. What a good idea will do, it will turn into a bad idea once you get on the beach and you get put in that cold water and you start getting kicked in the nuts, proverbially, I say.
Yes.
That's what it's going to turn into a bad idea. So make sure you have a deep-rooted reason as to why you want to be there.
Yes, exactly. And the thing, too, is realize that it is not impossible.
Yeah.
Everything that you're going to do in your future is not impossible. I mean, if you can get to that training, you can get through that training.
Yeah.
Right? You just have to want to do it, because there's going to be a time and a place during that hell week or during your journey where you are alone with your thoughts and you are tired.
Yeah.
The day has turned to night and you are cold, wet, and sandy.
Yeah.
And you got to make a decision. Do you still want to go?
Absolutely.
Right there. That is where mental toughness comes in. And if you can go into buds in killer shape, crushing it, and crushing all the standards, you don't have to engage that mental toughness until a little bit later. You will have to engage it. Everybody does. But I always tell people, if you can go in there at a high level of fitness and not injure yourself doing it, you're going to be much better off enduring the daily abuse.
Absolutely.
And when it comes into that hell week and those things that you just can't prepare for, you have to engage that mental toughness side. And throughout your journey, that journey has to, I think when I see your journey, Remi, I see that you built a whole lot of confidence throughout your journey. Even though it might have been down the wrong path when you were younger, you built the confidence to survive and then to thrive and compete at the highest levels. And that it was a longer journey. It took a couple of different rounds to do it, but in the end you figured it out and you never quit. And that is probably the best to, through, and after story that you can have, is that at the end you never quit.
Absolutely. Never quit.
I love it.
And try to be a team player. That's another thing. A lot of guys, I think they go on the SEAL training, they go on with this Rambo mentality. I'm going to do it on my own, screw everybody else.
You can't get through it alone.
Not at all. It's individuals fail, teams survive. So, yeah.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
Remi, thank you so much. Transformedstory.com. That's where people can find your pre-order of your book. I'd love to have you back on, and we can maybe talk about the book when it launches in January. Absolutely. And just see what's next. Maybe we got some movies to talk about too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm confident that we will.
I love it. Hey, thank you so much, and it's been an honor chatting with you.
Thank you, Brother Stu. It's been an honor sharing with you too. God bless and much love, brother.
Thank you.